Hey guys, welcome back to Degen Diplomacy. I'm Degen number 1.
I'm Degen number 2.
And I'm Degen number 4.
And we're finally back in the studio recording after Degen number 2's hiatus. Where have you been, Degen number 2?
I have been in Japan. Wow. Every weeb's dream.
And you just left us like that?
Yeah. Well, you guys were like poor, so sorry.
Alright, okay.
True. End of episode. Anyways, I can't see the bottle. I want to open this.
Anyway, we haven't even got started into this, and like Degen number 2's already like...
I'm still in holiday mode.
No, you really just want to get stuck into that.
Yeah, I really want to try
use.
this. I've been wanting to try this for like 2 weeks now.
Okay. Well, Degen number 3 won't be joining us. He has an important tournament coming up.
Tournament?
He's
Actually,
not
what is he doing?
He's joining some not local, but small OSU tournament. Well, none of us were aware that he was doing this today. So
That's very like him.
yeah, that's why Degen number 4 is here today.
Hello.
We're gonna be talking about Degen 2's trip to Japan.
Yes. Borders have just opened up for like the past 2 months. Tourists are crowding in, and I will describe my experience being a tourist joining that group.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, fine. Let's talk about what you're just like so excited to taste.
Excited. Oh, so what we have here is Pekara's the classic.
We love Hololive.
Yes, we're clearly all Hololive fans.
You picked it up. How much did it cost you?
I really want to try this.
Whoa.
I was burning my throat actually.
All right, bottoms up.
Jeez. Your reaction.
Oh, not bad.
I hate the taste of alcohol. I don't know what plum tastes like. I guess that's what plum tastes like. It's kind of like a combination between tamarind and what's that other thing? Raisins, dates.
That's a really tangy, like, aftertaste.
Mm.
Honestly, kind of like it.
Yeah, I dig it.
The
Oh, you clearly like it.
the smell puts me off, and then like,
No?
I'm not a fan.
One more?
No, thank you.
No?
Fine.
Okay. I've had 2 sips. I can just put this away. Anyways, I don't have a structure for this at all. I just put pictures on the slideshow, and I was like, okay, that'll jog my memory.
Well, good luck then. We'll
Well-
try our best to ask questions.
I put various pictures of me having fun. Can you tell?
You do look like a very happy fella.
I am a very happy fella. Japan was a lovely, lovely trip. So before I get started, I'll just describe like the planning process real quick. So I think on the planning side of things, it was quite light for our group. I'm sure a lot of people are like really excited about planning stuff like
You
that.
say
It's-
quite light, and I look up this fucking spreadsheet, and it's like
That's
This is giving me PTSD. Like, this looks like a school timetable.
kind of. I would say it's on the light side.
light side. Oh, that's so much information.
I mean, it looks like a lot, but you can't read it. But it really just says like figures, games, stuff like that, like things to purchase on one of them.
Okay.
And the others are just a bunch of locations. I didn't really do a lot of this. I think Simon did a lot of it because I was lazy. I just wanted to do my own thing. And then like
Simon being one of your other fellow.
yes, another Japan goer, and there'll be another Japan goer that I'll mention a little later. But yeah, we did a little planning. I was lazy. I helped out a bit, you know. I was like AKIHABARA, and I just slapped like a whole block of AKIHABARA in there.
Yeah.
It's like job well done.
You told me like while you were planning, you still had like a lot of time.
Yeah, because so this is actually the second iteration of the timetable. We did like a first iteration like months in advance. Then we revisited it and then realized that number 1, a lot of places on the list suck or they look boring. Number 2, it's really vague. So on the far left side, there's actually like 30-minute increments. So it's like this amount of sleep we get this. After an hour, 2 hours, we move to have lunch, which we didn't follow at all, by the way, because who follows a rigid structure like this?
Right?
I can't believe you even had like how much hours you should sleep.
Yeah,
I'm not limiting that. Yeah, I feel like if I went on holiday, I would not follow any sort of timetable, and I just go where I'd please.
Yeah, that's how we should have done it. If there is one thing I regret about the Japan trip, it was being too rigid. Because there were so many times where we would be at a place, but like we would only think about getting to the next place sometimes. So we wouldn't really enjoy it that much. And the other two were like obsessed with pictures for some reason. They wanted to like show their friends and family that they went to Japan. And And I just wanted to move on. I was like, I'm just standing here. They're taking photos in like one spot. It's been like 20, 30 minutes. And I'm just like, oh, can we please go now? They're like, no. We need more photos.
I did not take those guys to be like such photography maniacs.
I mean, Simon is, because he's like a camera nut.
I thought he'd just like record your entire trip and call it a day, but
No, he had like 4 cameras. He had like a DSLR like around his shoulder. He had like a head mount, which I'll show you later. There's like a little like camera above his head, which he looked like an obvious tourist there. Like he would walk around like Shinjuku or something, and people just look at him. He also had like a I think it was like a 360 camera. So it was on like a tripod. So he would just hold the stick up like a flag. It's like just waving it around like, oh hi, I'm a tourist, you know. Let me just expose myself.
I would have just like walked off and walked by myself at that point.
Yeah, I would have. But we had to like stick together because it was pretty easy to get lost. And there are quite a few occasions where, surprisingly, the guy who had the most equipment and stood out the absolute most got lost more frequently. Even though he was wearing like a bright blue jacket, which most Japanese people just wear like fairly dark clothing for the most part. Not all black. Like I think in Australia, I'll talk about fashion later. Because I felt like a hobo. But anyways, I'm planning. We had the itinerary right here. I was the laziest probably. I was like, Akihabara day 1, another Akihabara day, shopping mall. And that was my thing. And the others were doing the planning. I also did like a little catalog with all my stuff. Just documenting what I'm bringing and all that. And taking into account how much space. Because I knew I wanted to like purchase a lot of items when I was in Japan. Which I ended up doing a lot of. Check your passport, of course. You got to exchange currency. A lot of, when I was exchanging currency, a lot of places that we needed, like they didn't have yen. Because I think a lot of Australians were exchanging for yen. So they were just out. So you needed to get like something called like a travel card or something. You would trade your Australian dollars for like maybe a card that would have yen in it and you would tap on. But yeah. You know that Japan's like cash-based society. So it wouldn't fly. Though there was surprisingly a decent number of places that accepted card. So it wasn't all that bad, but we occasionally did buy from like eat at places that didn't accept card. So yeah, I'm glad we exchanged cash. I eventually found a place in near where I lived and we quickly exchanged cash. It had a decent rate. It was like each Australian dollar was about 87 yen, which is 4 yen less than the market median at the time. So it wasn't too bad. In Japan, it was awful. They were doing like 1 Australian dollar for like 78 yen. Afterwards, we got the rail pass, of course, the JR rail pass. It lets us ride any JR train for free. So stuff like the iconic Shinkansens. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of that.
Wait, it wasn't like an unlimited pass?
Yeah, for 2 weeks to use any JR train.
Huh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, pretty handy stuff.
Speaking of the trains, though, how were they?
A lot better than Australia, I'll say that. They're really good. They have heated seating.
They have heated seating?
Heated seating,
what
dude.
The fuck?
They had toilets on the trains. Well, not the normal trains, but like the Shinkansens.
Yeah.
How packed was it?
It was, depends on the time. Like, you know, rush hour. It's like really, really packed. This was full of business people and students going to like... Actually, it wasn't... It was January, so I think a lot of students weren't actually going to school. Some of them still wore their uniforms, though, so I can't tell if like, they actually had school or like they didn't have school, but there were students everywhere.
Maybe they had like club or something.
Maybe a club, probably.
Maybe cram schools as well.
Oh yeah, cram schools, male. So that's probably what they were doing.
Were you the loudest ones on the train?
Yeah, probably.
That's rude.
I was gonna be polite, right? Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna blend in with the Japanese people, but it's kind of hard when you're so used to Australia or something where everyone's like super loud. So I mean, we weren't that loud. We weren't like, screaming, but it was like kind of what I'm speaking right now, just louder than a Japanese person. So a lot of Japanese people tend to be quite mild mannered. So yeah, that made us stick out like a sore thumb. That and my other friend was different skinned, so not many people wanted to sit next to him. That was actually, I'll tell you something funny. We were on the train and we were just sitting like around, and then around like my other friend, there's like a pocket, like a circle around him, avoiding. Japanese people aren't racist.
How did he feel about that?
I think he felt fine. He was kind of laughing about it. I mean, it wasn't that obvious, but like there was at one point there was like a bit of a circle. And they had a tendency not to sit next to him. Me and my other friend, they sat next to us. But sometimes they did avoid us because we did come across as tourists. Yeah, anyways. That's the gist of the preparations. Yes. That was the general planning. Oh yeah, hotels. I'll just talk about hotels real quick. I think we booked our hotels like 3-4 months in advance. So they were fairly cheap and the country was like closed at the time. So you could only like get into Japan via tour packages. So you're just stuck with a group. I don't think many people wanted to do that. It was pretty cheap though. I think I saw a package in like September for I guess 2 weeks for $600
$600.
Whoa.
or something. It's really cheap.
But you had like no freedom, right?
Probably no freedom, and it was also like it was school time and work time.
Uh-huh.
So that's why not many people wanted to do it, unless you had like no commitments at that time. So yeah, this is before the flight. You can see how happy I looked before the flight. This is before Japan. I think it was like a 30-degree day or something, a 32-degree day, the 14th.
That's a very nice shot of you in your own room.
Yeah, I was just preparing, and Simon just like turned over and snapped a photo of me.
You look very what's the word? Photogenic.
Just looked
You're not
really-
going to be showing this, are you?
No.
Yeah.
It's just for you guys.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can comment on stuff. Unless you want me to blur my face out and everything.
You gotta blur everything in every slide.
Every
This is a Degen 2 only face reveal.
Anyways, that's me at the airport. I'm getting ready, you know. This is the CAIRNS. Oh, okay. The first flight was fine, right?
Yeah.
I was really scared we couldn't get like across the border because I hadn't traveled in so long.
As long as your passport's up to date, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, it was just COVID rules. I read that you didn't need to do any tests or anything like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't completely sure, so that went fine, and we got into CAIRNS. So I was thinking that when you get into like the Queensland airport, you would be like open to like the open space with the shops and everything, the couches. Like before a
yes.
flight or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. So I thought that we'd be in there, but that wasn't the case. We got off the plane. It was like nearly 12 a.m. at night. We grabbed our luggage. We went like this big lobby with just like these hard ass chairs. Everyone got their stuff, and we just sat there because there was nowhere else to go. So I was thinking, okay, this is probably the wrong spot. So we get up, and you see in the shot like top left there, we were like going to the nicer place, the international airport. But when we got there, guess what? It was closed. So it was like, okay, it's 12 a.m. at night. The nice space is closed. So we lug our stuff all the way back to the arrival area, and we just sit there. So, okay, maybe we should book a hotel. So, I bust out my phone, I look at a bunch of hotels, I give them a call. They're all booked. That's great. Okay, so we have no hotels. The international airport is closed. We're in this, like, you can see the photo in the bottom left. I just took
It
miserable.
looks like an emergency place, to be honest.
It was basically. It was like completely empty. There was like 2 vending machines with like snacks in them. There was a toilet in the back. And these hard ass chairs, which were designed in a way that you couldn't like lie down and sleep. So I was sitting there at 12 a.m. just miserable. It was like 20 something degrees outside, but it was really humid. So it was just, you didn't want to be outside. So I thought to myself, okay, we'll just chill here for like 12 hours because that's how long we have until our next flight. And we'll just play some games or something, you know? So it's 1 a.m. now, and some lady walks in, right? So keep in mind, it's not just us. It's like the
There's,
whole
like, yeah,
group
more.
of the plane. Like the majority of them. I think some of them like booked hotels, but they were smart. So it was just us with like 10 people sitting in this lobby at 1 a.m. in the morning, just waiting for our next flight. I think they were all like also Japan goers. They were also taking like the same route as us. So we're sitting there. This lady walks in. It's like, everybody out. And I just look at her. Like, I'm lying on the floor at this point. Like, I had my jacket on the floor. I had a pillow. I was getting ready to sleep. I got my eye mask on. And she's like, everybody out. And I just wake up like, huh? What? And then everyone just starts getting their stuff. And I start panicking because all my stuff's like laid out on the floor. So I was getting myself comfortable. I got my iPad. I got my pillow. I got my sleep stuff. So I had to like quickly just rush it in. But she was like standing there just looking at me. Just waiting for me to like pack up. And everyone was just leaving. So I hurriedly pack everything up. And I get out. But it turns out that in my rush, the big like puffy jacket, I purchased it for like the snow. I had got caught between like my luggage's wheels. and there was like a big gaping hole now.
Uh,
It was like $100 jacket. It was like $200 normally,
No.
and it just got ripped. So my jacket's ripped. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm stuck outside now in this hot heat. I have 11 hours until my next flight. So
what? She just kicked you out and left you outside.
Yeah.
She didn't like tell you, oh, you're going here now or anything.
kick this out. So we're stuck outside now until our next flight. You can see Simon, like, he was really miserable because he was also sick at the time. So he was like coughing nonstop and he was just sleeping under the thing. So to pass the time, we sort of just sat there and talked and walked around like the airport. There was like I think it was like a Chinese family or something. There's some guy in an orange shirt. I think we called him Orange Shirt Guy because we kept meeting him in Japan. Again, that guy deadass like sat down on like a bench and just sat there. He sat still for like 12 hours. I don't know how he did it. He, was just he had a book in hand. He was just reading for 12 hours straight. I don't know what he was doing. The guy's insane. I was miserable. Like the night before, I was so excited for the trip that I didn't sleep. So I was gonna go through like another night with no sleep. So I was just really sad. Yeah, it was just us being really, really miserable. I think to pass the time, we did model shoots. So
Model shoots.
Model shoot.
All right, you do you.
You got pictures?
yeah, I do have pictures actually. It's like the stupidest thing ever. But I think we were all sleep deprived and like just really not having it. Simon set up his tripod. He put a camera on, and he's like, "All right, pose." The airport was like completely empty as well, so no one really saw us. We had the airport to ourselves, so we were just like,
You were walking around like the airport car park at like 1, 2 a.m.
yeah,
just modeling.
yeah, basically. Look,
What is that?
I don't know. I was doing stupidest things. Oh yeah, those were us. The things you do when you're like dead ass tired and you're just done with everything. You're model material, right? I know.
Oh my god. What a handsome man.
I know. I was. Oh, look at this.
Are airports not open 24/7?
They're not. Surprisingly, they're not. So we're actually like I think it opened at 4 a.m. again. So we're just stuck here for 4 hours in the heat.
Was there anybody else around? Or was it
Yeah,
just
there
you?
was. The people got kicked out as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were sitting around. I didn't get any photos of them. Or Simon did. But yeah, that was my experience at CAIRNS. I hate CAIRNS so much.
Alright, so what you're telling me is next time we get into this situation, if we can't book a hotel, we rent a car and then we just sleep in the car.
Yeah, we thought about that actually.
You thought about it?
But I don't have a full license.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to.
Shit, none of us have a full license either.
So yeah, we couldn't do that. I think just don't get into the situation. We booked the cheapest flight, which just happened to have like a 12-hour in between period. Normally they only have like 2 hours or something or 4 hours. So yeah, just don't do that. Or like book a hotel and be smart. You know. So I hadn't slept in like 2 days. I was sitting in the hard chair. Also, there was like an advertisement like just kept looping for like the 12 hours. So we were all going insane.
What class were you riding?
It was economy.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
It was Jetstar economy, the lowest you can get. Oh,
Nah,
gosh.
if I ever go on a trip, I'd like to go like either business or first class. I don't think I could handle economy.
Look at this guy. So bougie.
Yeah, I'm bougie because I don't think I could handle economy, man. I will not be able to fall asleep in economy
You
class.
can't fall asleep in economy.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Or either that or like you don't do Jetstar and you do like Singapore. So I think Singapore has like a lot more leg room. So you might be able to fall asleep. I think right before the flight, I saw the full-on other bastards who came back from their hotels. They're all like fresh and ready. And I was just sitting on the floor. Like, oh, wow, that was great.
You only have yourself to blame.
Yeah, that's true. Also, like I called one of the hotels once, and it wasn't even a hotel. It's just some bar called themselves hotel. You go on the plane, and 7-hour flight. It was much better though. There's more leg room on an international flight compared to a domestic one. So I was good. I got 2 hours of sleep. It was a good flight, and we got off. And finally in Japan, my first experience was it felt kind of strict because like they were kind of just funneling us through like a pipeline. So we would get off the plane, and they would hand us like these little pamphlets. So it'd be like, oh, it's face mask rules, stuff like that. It was in Japanese. I couldn't read it, but it was kind of obvious. And they also they told us to like get like this online thing out to scan the QR code. So before we left the flight, we actually had to fill out like COVID details and stuff like that, and like reasons for traveling, whether or not we would bring like jewelry and all that stuff, like any materials that might cause problems, and meat. So we filled all that in beforehand. It was on our phones, little QR code. So we would go through the line. There was like a lady at one point. She grabbed my passport and she like checked my face to see if it matched or not. The usual stuff. Then after we finished all that, it was really painless. I think we were in and out in like 20 minutes or something, 30 minutes maybe max.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty good. Not
pretty
too
fast,
bad.
honestly.
Yeah, I was expecting like an hour.
I'm jealous of you guys that you didn't have like any problems in the plane. Because usually, whenever I go on a plane ride, I either become deaf in my ear, or like there's just like a sharp pain in my head.
Yeah, the other two were complaining about that. I didn't have that issue.
Yeah, lucky.
Yeah, I don't know why. But whenever the plane like did a sharp turn or like up or down or left right, their ears would like pop,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I was fortunate not to have that issue. So it's very procedural. Compared to Australia, things in Japan tend to be very single file. Like even on trains, you would have to like line up in like these designated spots. Whereas in Australia, you sort of just go. It's like if there's a spot, you just walk there.
That no need for that nonsense, bro. Just get in, get out.
Just get in, exactly.
That's all we need.
So those Japanese, man, they're really organized. I think I can see the merit in that, but when I came back to Australia, I really, really missed the freedom. Because there's so many rules in Japan. Like, you're not really allowed to like Asian squat anywhere. It's just rude.
Really?
Yeah, you can't. You can't just like crouch down. You can't sit on the stairs. There's like no public seating because I think in the culture, you're expected to like only be out to get like food quickly and then go back to your workplace or like go back to school or like go back home or something. So you're not really supposed to be hanging out. That really, really sucked. My legs were like, I swear I developed like thunder thighs for like a brief bit of the trip. I just kept walking all the time. I think Simon's watch said that we walked like 17 hours on one day. It was just like, what? I'm sure we weren't walking like non-stop 17 hours. We were standing up. That's why it was counting that. But there was a lot of walking. And I got a bit fitter, but I'm going to like undo that in like a few weeks anyway. Anyways, airport. Train ride. The train ride was kind of scary at first. Because we took a JR train. And if you're not like reserved on something, they'll check your ticket. So there was like this train operator with like the perfect eyelashes, I swear. This man like spent hours in front of the mirror. He like walked into the thing, he bowed to everyone or something. I think he said like, I'll be checking your things now, thank you. Then he walked up to our group and he spoke in Japanese. I just started panicking. Like, oh shit, what's he saying? But I think he made it pretty apparent that he wanted our tickets. So we showed the tickets. I think he asked where we were going. He showed the location. He was like, cool. We walked away. I was really scared at the time because everyone else on the train card was like showing brown tickets, but we had like a blue ticket. So it was like the JR thing, and everyone had like the proper ticket to like go to the location. So I was afraid we'd get kicked out. I hadn't slept in like 3 days at this point, so I really didn't want to deal with more crap. I just wanted to like go to my hotel and sleep because I hadn't felt a warm bed in so long. So that worked out fine. We got off like 2-3 trains, and we lugged our stuff all the way to our hotel. Yeah, that was my first experience in Japan, or my introduction to Japan. I didn't really talk about like first impressions, kind of, or like what I was expecting. So when I say Japan, what do you guys think of?
There's a lot of Asian people around.
Yes, you're right.
Mostly cityscape.
Yeah.
No trees.
No trees? Oh, yeah, actually, the place we were at, no trees.
It's just like a gigantic Melbourne Central.
It's the Melbourne Central everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of it. The place I was staying was kind of dirty. It was like, okay, maybe I'm not doing it dirty here. It was just not the clean Japan you'd expect. Or like the local street I was staying at. It was close to a, I think it was like it's a big shopping center that like people in Osaka tend to like advertise. It was called Dontonbori. I think Simon was the only one who actually went there because he had the energy to actually like leave the hotel afterwards. on one of the other days to actually go, I was just done. Because it was just like a lot of walking, gambling. Okay, what convenience stores real quick. I lived off convenience stores for the longest time because the food is like dirt cheap. So you guys know yakisoba? Like that, the bread with like the noodles in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I think this big. $1.50. That bad boy filled me up.
It had tax, didn't it?
It did have tax. It was like 10 extra yen.
Oh well, okay then.
He's like nothing. So $1.50 was like, that's a meal right there. And you bet I was buying like 3 of those bad boys every time I ate. So that was like $4.50 for like a meal if I really wanted to cheap out. But in the beginning, I didn't really cheap out. I think when I first got to like the hotel, I was getting settled in, and I thought, I'm just gonna treat myself. Why don't I just go to the convenience store and just stock up, just grab whatever snacks, because I had like all the cash at that time. I hadn't spent anything. So I walked into the convenience store. I grab all my stuff. I grab like, oh, this snack looks nice, just dump it in. This drink looks nice, dump it in. Grab everything. And I walk up to the cashier. Now I was expecting like a full-blown Japanese man, all right?
Yeah.
Like manning the counter. It wasn't. It was some brown dude. He was like, I couldn't tell his ethnicity, but he spoke really good Japanese. He was like,
could he speak English?
I was like, no, I didn't even say that. I just looked at him, and he was pointing to like things to do. It's like in 7-Elevens, they wouldn't actually handle the cash themselves. They'll have like a machine. So what they'll do is, I think they'll scan all your stuff or something, and then you'll like click on the machine, like cash card stuff like that. I click cash, and then you just dump all your cash into the machine, like the notes, the coins, or whatever. And then after you're done, they'll just print a receipt, give you a change from the machine. You don't have to speak to them at all. So it was really convenient, as the place implies. And I walked out. Easy peasy.
I'm just really convinced at this point that Japan is really antisocial.
Yeah, they're kind of.
They don't want you talking to anybody. They got automated payments. You're not supposed to like talk on trains or anything like that.
I mean, have you seen the Japanese birth rate?
There were a surprising number of couples actually out in the open. So I think they're doing better. I think.
I
maybe.
No, it's
maybe.
more of an economic thing rather than.
Economic.
Oh,
their economy. Their borders are open. Their economy will probably do better. Convenience stores saved my ass. The other food there pretty cheap as well. I think that ramen bowl you see there was 700 yen.
What was that?
800 yen. It was in Shibuya. So
Any particular restaurant? Was it Ichiran ramen?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I just went to a random joint. It was pretty damn good though. It's the best ramen I've ever had, which is not saying much because I haven't eaten much ramen in my life. I like instant ramen. So cheap meal, I think that coffee can was like 100 yen. It's like $1. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn warm as well.
Is that what's on the right hand side?
Yeah,
or?
the right one.
Like an energy drink.
Yeah, it kind of does. I think energy drinks there were about $2.
Still good.
Pretty damn good. I really miss the vending machines in Australia.
Australia.
Not Australia.
Not
the
Australia.
Those
Where
vending
is that?
machines in Australia. I wish they were here.
Okay, yeah.
It's like they're so cheap. They're always like ice cold, or like they have warm drinks as well.
Did you go to any vending machines that had like the lucky spin or whatever it was?
Oh, like a gacha machine. I think we saw one, but we didn't use it.
Not like a gacha machine, but like if you ordered a drink, it'd roll, and then if you got the number, it'd give you a second drink.
Ah, no, I didn't see anything like that. Oh, that sounds really cool though. Oh, there's so many things we missed in Japan, but I think by the end of the trip I was miserable. I just wanted to go home. But anyways.
You wanted to go home because you ran out of money.
Yeah. I had like no money left there was like 5 days left in the trip.
Oh my god.
The Liverpool convenience store. That's why I love them so much. Also, I think my favorite food overall in Japan were like convenience store sandwiches. Not even restaurant food. Like the restaurant food looks nice and stuff like that, and it did taste nice. It was cheap and everything, but the sandwiches probably like they fulfilled me the most. They tasted the best in my mouth.
Yeah, all right. I'll bring you to one of our 7-Elevens later.
It's not the same. I've tried it before. I always eat that at uni. It's dry. It's not really. it's not overpowering or anything like that. It's just weak. The sandwiches in Japan, they're pretty bomb though. If you're in Japan, you should try the lettuce, egg, and ham. The classic. Food. I didn't eat that much food. The other guys wanted to eat out a lot. I didn't really want to eat out. Number one, I was poor. Number two, I actually just preferred convenience store food in general, even though it was probably unhealthier.
I feel like that was a big missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Not going out to eat and only eating at 7-Eleven.
I mean, I wasn't only eating there. I think like 7-Elevens was 30% of my diet.
Did you also go to like Family Mart and Lawson's and stuff like that?
Yeah, I went to a few of those.
Did you get the chicken?
No, actually, I didn't.
What?
I didn't eat the family chicken.
You did not get
I
Family
didn't
Chicken?
get family chicken.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I missed the opportunity. I looked at it. It was like $2 for a piece. I was like, that's outrageous. I can get like a full-on bread roll for like $1. It's not bang for my buck. I say that as I spend like 15. I spend So one of our hotels in Tokyo had like it was like a 4-star hotel, and had like a fancy menu. I bought the most expensive item on the menu. So it was it was like steak or something, some black sauce, and like a piece of celery for $40.
Oh my god.
I was like, this is the best meal I've had in Japan. It was so mid. The sauce tasted like nothing. The steak was it was tender, but like it was kind of dry in the inside.
I don't hear anybody ever talk about hotel food in Japan.
Yeah, that's true. But I just thought maybe it'd be an exception, or maybe if it costs so much, maybe it'll be good, But a rule that I found is the more money I spend on food, the worse it tastes. So I just try cheaping out a lot of the time.
Taste buds actually ruined by 7-Eleven convenience store foods.
Yeah. Everything's it tastes so good and it's so cheap,
It tastes so good because it was cheap.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's
You get
true.
the value as well. So
Yeah. Oh, I really wish there were Japanese 7-Elevens in Australia. I really miss them. I think the things I miss most after leaving Japan would be bidets. I love bidets. At first, it feels like someone's grabbing your ass when you spray the water. Like you press it and like you can hear it like charging up. And you're sort of anticipating, you're closing your eyes and you're just like, it's gonna come. And then it just shoots up your ass. And it's like the most uncomfortable thing you'll ever feel the first time you do it. But after a while, you kind of get used to it, Like, it's just went a wind tangent from like food to like water up my ass.
Yep. Thank you for this description. We really needed it.
thank you, especially after food. Talking about poop.
I don't know. I was talking about things I missed. What was I talking about food? Oh yeah, things I missed. So food, bidets, and I think the cold weather. I hate the hot weather in Australia.
Did you have like a favorite drink?
Strong Zero.
Strong Zero L.
Honestly, I think it's like water the most.
That's why you brought back
Yeah.
a water bottle to reuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite brand of water, Kieran?
It all tastes the same, honestly.
Kieran water goes hard though.
It goes hard? Yeah, it does go hard. Like, I have a sip right now. This is totally Japanese water. I think other than the Kirin, I really like the milk coffee. That was some bomb ass stuff. For only $1.50, you get a whole bottle of coffee. I really miss that. Anyways, nighttime. So there are a lot of cases. We usually return to the hotel around like 7, 8-ish. So there are plenty of cases of us being out at night, like at 5, 6 p.m. And you'd think that it'd be quite crowded because in Australia it is quite crowded in like the main city area. Though I would say that in Tokyo it was like much like Australia, but in Osaka when we were walking out at night, it was pretty empty and desolate. So we had the street to ourselves basically. We could just be as loud as we wanted. We could like finally take off our face masks. It's nice.
It does look nice. I would like to just run around in the middle of the street doing jack shit.
Which place had the best like night side?
From what I've seen, just the pictures, like Dontonbori, that place near a hotel. I didn't see it in person because I was too tired to. But like from my experience, it was I don't recall the names. Well, whatever that place with the lights is, I don't know. I remember where it's at.
Whatever the place. With the
No, I don't know.
The top left
that
one.
place.
The bottom left one.
Oh, the bottom one.
That was pretty nice. There was like one businessman out, like he was drunk or something. Oh, it's just like the animes, right? It's just like the Call of the Night.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, it's real. Like, Universal Studios. So, a lot of people compare Universal Studios to Disneyland. Which one do you think is the best? Like,
I've only ever been to Disneyland.
the one in Australia? The first one in Australia.
I went to the one in China,
China.
Hong Kong.
Any good
It was
line?
pretty good. Yeah, I mean,
good?
I was a child back then, so
Oh,
it was
so
good.
You don't remember too much.
I mean, you're still a child now, so.
You're still a child at heart. Don't worry about it. Anyways, I thought that Universal would be the best one, but Universal had the best presentation overall. They had things like the Harry Potter rides and stuff like that. Nintendo World, which is everyone loves raving about. You know, Nintendo World is like,
I feel like you guys wouldn't enjoy it because you guys don't play Nintendo games.
yeah, that's true. I guess it was really pretty. I'll say that much. But I feel like the fact that we had to wait like 15 minutes for like a small ride, and when I say small ride, I mean like you crank up a thing, like a little game you play, for 10 seconds. So it was so we bought these like little watches and you put them around our hands, and they had like little sensors or something that you could like interact with the world, stuff like that. So you would see like I don't know, it was like blocks, and you get like punch it, stuff like that. You get coins, and you could download like a little app, and when you tap these like boxes and stuff like that, it adds coins to like your wallet or something. I don't know what the point was. It was just have a score, I guess, to compete with your friends. I looked at the leaderboards, and there were like a few dozen people with like the highest score possible. It was 99999999999. It kept going. So someone loves Nintendo World. They kept tapping or something. Anyways, you would line up for these games. So like you would do various things like you would punch a block, and like it would stop at like a random symbol, and you would try to like get 4 in a row, like a slot machine, except you tap it to get the thing.
Gambling, but for children.
Yeah, for children. I mean, you're not betting anything, I guess, so it's not the worst thing ever.
You know, teaching them young, training them for the real thing.
Training them, yeah. So that was one of the games. I feel like I like 2 matching. Simon got like 4, and my other friend Hamala got like 3. So like the more you got, I guess you get more coins, the better you did. And there were like other little games. You would go into like little dungeons, and you would like tap things. It sounds really fun, but it's not. It's actually not that fun. I hated waiting in line, and I guess I'm not a Nintendo guy, so maybe it didn't appeal to me as much. After playing a certain number of like basic games, you get like these little keys, and then if you had enough keys, you could like go to like a dungeon where you could like use these keys to challenge like a boss. And the boss we did was Bowser Jr. So you would have like a big screen or something like that when you walk to the dungeon, and I think like a device behind you would project your shadow onto the screen. So it was like you were actually in like a platformer kind of setting. So you would see like the normal Mario things, and you would also have your silhouette. And whenever like things came down, so like the point of the game was to like whack these balls at Bowser Jr. as he like flew around above you. So these balls would like come down. You would like use your silhouette to like just whack it and try to knock it into him. And every so often, like, a bullet would come around the corner or something like that. So you would have to, like, crouch down to avoid it, or else you would take damage. I don't think you could have lost, really. I think you could just keep whacking, and he would eventually just die, which was the case. I think I just stood still for a while. I didn't really care. Defeated the boss. I felt pretty fulfilled. There was, like, I think we did 50% of everything. And we had been there for, like, 5-6 hours or something. A long time. But it was really pretty, though. It was nice. Though we had the food there as well. I'll just show you the food there. It looks really nice, but it's like really mid. It's
well,
like,
I guess because they had to focus more on presentation because they're making like a shit ton of these out every day
yeah.
to give to customers. It does look really pretty.
What's that burger?
The burger?
What's that supposed to be?
The top left one.
Yeah.
I think I was like, I don't know, I think I called it a Mario burger or something. Just made a burger and put Mario's hat on it. Like $20 for a meal. I could have. You know how many convenience store sandwiches I could have got on that?
Yeah, but if you compare it to Australia, that's like the price of an average meal.
Yeah, it is. But oh man, in Japan, it was just I thought I was getting ripped off.
Even in Japan, you felt like you were getting ripped off.
Yeah. Fun. Simon bought like the most amount of food, just so he could take photos of it. And then after he took photos, he realized he had to eat it. So he was just shoving food down his throat, just trying to finish as much as possible. And in the end, he couldn't finish it all. He had like a bit left. And we had to just leave with all the food. Oh, yeah.
Wow, the disrespect.
Just
Honestly, it sounds like so far you've just not enjoyed it.
yeah,
Like, seriously.
yeah, Japan's fun. It's a lot of fun. Don't worry about it. No, I mean,
Nice, trust me.
Yeah, trust. I mean, okay. I'm gonna be honest. I had the most fun just shopping.
Oh yeah.
Like to me, Japan was like a big shopping center. So everything else was sort of just like, yes, it's nice, but not the best.
Like one of the things that I thought was good about Japan, from what other people said, was like the food.
Yeah, food. It was good though. I mean, I'm just complaining too much. That's why. I think the food's like super dirt cheap. It's like 800 yen for like a big meal, something like that, for like a curry and stuff like that. I think because people hype it up too much, like your expectations are so high that when you actually try it, it doesn't meet it. Or maybe I just ate mid food. I ate
I'm sure,
a lot
like
of curry.
in general, the collaboration foods aren't that good, anyways.
Yeah, they're usually pretty bad. Oh yeah, by the way, we waited like an hour for that food. By the way,
Oh my god.
there was a big line outside, and when we finally got inside, I was like, oh, finally I can eat. But then I realized there was like another room with more lines. So I thought, okay, so we go through another room with lines, and then there's like another room with lines. So after that room with lines, we actually get to like the restaurant, which had a line. If you're gonna eat at Nintendo World, please don't. Unless you want pictures, maybe.
Let's face it. If I were to go to Japan, I probably would avoid any place that was crowded.
Yeah, but that's kind of hard because
Everywhere is crowded.
everywhere is crowded. Unless like you go to remote areas, which might not be as welcoming to tourists. Oh, can you tell I'm having fun in Japan? By the amount of complaining I'm doing.
Yeah, all I hear is just complaints, and I miss these things.
It just sounds like a chore. Like doing anything in Japan that isn't food.
Yeah. It felt like a chore to me because I'm an inside person.
You're ruining everybody's image of Japan.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
am. Look, if you like going around and seeing stuff and taking photos, you'll love Japan. Japan's all about that. Me, I just want to shop. I just want to buy stuff and like see some sights, you know? So maybe Japan and me were like not very compatible.
Maybe you just didn't go to the right places.
I think
You had like two people who wanted to see the sights.
Yeah. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I just visited more shopping centers. Because I had a look like around Shinjuku and stuff like that, and Shibuya, the little time I had. And it seemed like a really fun place to hang out, but the other guys just wanted to visit temples all the time. I think in total we visited like 7-8 temples in 2 weeks. And I was just miserable. They're all the same. They always look the same, man.
Oh.
You didn't
Can't
feel
talk about-
enlightened?
No, I didn't feel enlightened at all. Okay, I'm sorry. Look, the temples are beautiful. They're great. I'm not a temple guy, right?
Let's be real here. I'd fucking hate going temple, shrine outings.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
Kind of wish you came along to like complain with me. Maybe we could have like separated from them, but no. I guess that's the problem with traveling with people who like have different intentions to you. I didn't think too much about it. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to Japan, and that'll be fun, right? But I guess that's my fault for not really planning that much. So we each had, I think there were like 12 plannable days, and we each had 4 days to plan. And I just dunked all my days into like Akihabara and like anime places.
Did they hate that? Did they hate
No,
it?
they liked it. I think Kamala didn't like it too much, but he didn't shop as much there. But Simon spent more money than me, like on anime stuff, which is surprising, because I was the one who wanted to like go there in the first place, but he ended up outdoing me. So that's fun.
I have to ask about what he got there later.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that later. Oh, the nighttime atmosphere was nice, but again, we were always on the go. That I didn't really get to just sit down and enjoy anything, because I think at longest we would sit down for like 10 minutes or something. We never really had an opportunity to like sit down for like an hour or something and just take in the view, just soak in just be in the moment, you know. It was always about, okay, we gotta wake up early tomorrow, so we gotta leave now because we gotta get to the Inari Fushimi Shrine so we can take the best photographs. at the end of Universal, I think we explored like 30% of it, the entire trip, which is a stark contrast to like Disneyland, which I'll talk about next. Okay, so Disneyland, when we got there, it was like raining, the happiest place on earth, right? It was drenched. The whole place was completely wet. If you see in the picture, it's like really cloudy. It was really cold as well. I think later in the day, it was like negative something. And I really regret not wearing like an extra layer of socks and not having thicker gloves. Because I was miserable because of that. But overall, actually, I found Disneyland a lot more enjoyable. Because there were actually like a lot of things to do. So from what I found in Universal, they had like main attractions. I think there were like 10 main things or something, which were like really high quality. I think I don't have any images of it, but there was like a Jaws ride where like you would go on like this boat filled with other people, and you would have like an announcer who would like try to act and stuff like that. So that she'd be like, "Oh, we gotta like search for this missing ship that went silent an hour ago," or something like that. So you would go on this little cruise, and then eventually you would see the ship and stuff like that, and they would play like loud music in the background, which was pretty immersive actually. It didn't sound like amusement parky. And you would see the shark, and everyone would be like, "Oh my gosh!" Like the whole crowd would just go crazy. And at one point, she busted out like a fake shotgun or something. she pretended to shoot, and then like I think the thing in the bottom would just activate every time she signaled it or something, and like loud explosions. So that was pretty nice. It was pretty immersive. It felt like you were in a movie. But they were like, number one, you have to wait for so long for these.
Excuse me, you went to Disneyland and you rode the Jaws.
Oh no, this isn't Universal. I'm comparing.
Oh, this was Universal.
Yeah, it was Universal.
Oh, okay.
So in Universal, there were like a few attractions.
So Disneyland in comparison to the 10 beautiful attractions.
Yeah, like 10 beautiful rides. It was around 10. I'm sure there's more. Compared to like Disneyland's abundance of things to do. Plus, Universal didn't have any seats. Okay, it was very Japanese-esque. You know, they just decided not to put seats anywhere. Disneyland was filled with seats. And this was a deal breaker for me. All right? You'd be surprised how much seating actually makes a difference to your enjoyment. Because in like Western culture, you see seats everywhere, right? There's always a place to sit down, just like gather your belongings, just do stuff. But in Disneyland, it felt like I was back in a Western society, you know? It was really nice. I didn't feel weird about like crouching down the floor or anything like that. In Japan, it's like, I think it's considered rude to like adjust your bag or something. So you couldn't just like take off your bag and like put stuff around and stuff like that. Disneyland, I felt perfectly fine with doing that. So that was like a really, really, really big point for me. That made me enjoy Disneyland a lot more. And of course, I honestly think the rides were like, even though Universal's rides were of higher quality, Disneyland's rides weren't that far behind. So there was a lot of it. They were pretty fun. I think at one point I got to like ride a boat around like some lake or something. That was pretty cool. Compared to the Jaws ride, which was like 2 minutes or something. And overall, I enjoyed Disneyland a lot more. Actually, in the beginning, I think there was like one rude Japanese girl who tried to push the line in front of me. I don't know what she said. She spoke in Japanese behind me. She tapped my shoulder, and she was like pointing to the back of the line. I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And she walked ahead of me afterwards. And we just stood there like confused, like, what? What was she saying? This is the line, right? And then, yeah, we go back in line. But she had pushed way ahead by then. That's probably the worst experience I had. In terms of just Japanese people taking advantage of me because I didn't know Japanese very well. But other than that, the services were good. Anyways, this line was a lot of fun. Good photos. The guys had a lot of fun taking photos. I just sat there. It was like -2 degrees or something. And those guys just wanted to stand out in the open in the wind, taking photos. And I just didn't want to be there.
But I think even though if you don't enjoy taking photos, you should bring along someone who does enjoy taking photos so they can like document your experience. So
Yeah,
you don't go home empty-handed.
I am glad Simon went to the trouble bringing 4 cameras to document everything.
But you just weren't grateful for having to stand out in the open at night.
Yeah, it was a thing where like I despised him for doing it, but I understood his reason.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was gonna appreciate it when I got back, and I did because I was able to put together this slideshow.
If you had like one other person come with you, you two could have just like went
Yeah,
off.
I could have disappeared. I guess I wouldn't be in the photos, but like, that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not. A few photos with me is fine. So I wish there was one more person who wasn't obsessed with photos, came along. Who also wasn't obsessed with temples and shrines. That would be nice too. But no, just me. Man, good photos though. Cool, very nice. You got a bocce now.
Oh, okay.
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 So someone actually documented like all the bocce locations in real life.
I watched a video on all the places.
Oh, did someone visit all the locations?
Yeah. What? So there was this map, and you just followed it.
Yeah, we followed a bit of it because Hamala hadn't seen bocce.
Yeah.
So he was miserable.
So he just thought you guys were like taking pictures of stairways and walls for no reason at all.
So it would be like a thing where Simon would point at a fence. He's like, that's the fence from bocce. I'm like, yeah, it is. And then Hamala would be like, what? It's just the fence.
Did you see other people doing the same thing?
Yeah,
there?
I think we saw a few people doing the same thing. There were like two girls ahead of us taking photos of a staircase. And then we saw them and was like, they're probably taking pictures of the bocce staircase. So we went there, we took photos of that. We took photos of a few places. That's the vending machine the bocce and Nichiko had the discussion. That was quite nice. I bought the same drink as bocce, the red one.
Oh my god.
Okay, but
Must have been nice. But what was it anyways?
It was Coke. It was just Coke. It was cool.
I don't recognize the top 3 locations.
Yeah, that's the restaurant that they ate at after the show. I just stood there like a weirdo. Everyone else was just going in to eat. I was snapping like a lot of photos. And there's Shelter, which is like the main location. When we stood there for in like the 15-20 minutes we stood there were like 8 other guys who just walked up to the place, snapped a photo and walked away. A lot of people like that. I remember at one point I think one of the workers there, something just walked out and like put the sign up, and I got really scared because I was just snapping photos outside, and she sort of looked at me and then walked back in. So that was something.
It's probably like a normal occurrence to them at that point.
Yeah.
They're like, all these people come to take a picture, but nobody actually comes in to buy tickets.
I think they're actually quite popular. So when they did open it, I saw a lot of people walk in. But it was like 5,000 yen for like a admission.
And you were poor at that point.
I had enough money to go in. I wanted to go in, but I was too scared to go by myself. And Simon didn't want to do it. Which I really regret, because I'm sure I would have had a cool story to tell.
Cool story maybe, but would you have enjoyed it anyway?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. I'd probably say that I enjoyed it, but like inside, I'm just like, oh, this is kind of boring.
Wait, so is the studio actually a real place?
Yeah, it is a real place.
Don't know what it looks like inside though.
Yeah, I've seen a few photos online. So I think it is kind of accurate to the show. I like the furthest I went was I walked down the stairs and I saw like the lady at the front, like grabbing people's cash and stuff like that, and letting them in. And I got scared and I walked out. I walked up the stairs. I was like, oh, okay, that's enough. I think next day we went to was Akihabara. Actually, no. It was Akihabara then bocce, but I didn't put it on.
God, if I went to Akihabara, all my money would be gone.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Everything is so cheap at Akihabara. Because online, you always have to pay like import stuff, like taxes and all that. But this is none of that when you're in Akihabara. When I walked to Akihabara, I thought it would just be like its own civilization. Like, I thought Akihabara would be its own biome or something in like Japan. But no, it's just buildings, in a city.
But it's like obvious when you step into Akihabara.
It is obvious. I think the photo on the left is like us going from normal business buildings to like Akihabara.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious. You can see like the black and white buildings on the right side, and then it just transitions over to like Paimon. It was already colorful. Probably my favorite place in the trip, honestly, because I just I like shopping. I think before I went, I had mapped out like all the places I wanted to go to, and by the end of like mapping everything out, I had like more than 10 locations or something, and we weren't gonna be able to go through that in like a day. So I went ahead and I scheduled 2 Akihabara days, which I'm thankful for because we got through more of it. But there's still a lot of places I still want to go to, like the arcade. I didn't get to play at the arcade because the other guys weren't really arcadey people.
Oh.
No
L,
way.
actual L.
Oh.
Can't believe this.
I'm sure they recommended it to me, but I don't know. No one seemed that enthusiastic about it, so I didn't really feel inclined to play. There was like a building with like 10 floors of arcades. And
That's
I
the
really
dream.
wanted to try it.
That's the dream.
It's the dream.
I'm still like kind of cut you didn't go into any maid cafes.
You know how miserable I'd be? They do like the my kid thing. I would just like be stone faced. Like, please, I don't want to be here.
You gotta do it at least once for the experience.
Look, if I ever go with you, we'll go.
I'm definitely not stepping foot in there.
No, you're coming with me.
I mean,
There was so many maids out.
isn't it the same as a Western one? And you can just go to like one of the conventions here,
Yeah, you probably
which
could.
have one.
But like they're, I guess it's maybe it's different in Japan. You know, it's like it's in Japan, so maybe.
So they say Japanese instead.
Yeah, it's kind of Japanese.
I can't understand it, so I won't cringe as much.
Exactly. There was so many when we were walking through Akihabara. There were like every street corner had at least like one or two maids like advertising, and like sometimes they would just hand the pamphlets in front of you. As I walked by, I did not make eye contact. I wanted to avoid as much eye contact as humanly possible. I didn't want to associate with them. I'm sure they're lovely people, but like I don't think my cringe meter would be able to handle it, honestly. But you know, they're doing good work. When I was in Akihabara, of course, I mapped the thing. I think the first building I aimed at was there was a main building called Radio Kaiken, which had like 8 floors. And it's where I bought the Pekara wine. It was the only building that had the wine. So I bought that, walked out the building. There was like just anime figures galore. All right, I knew my wallet wasn't gonna be able to take this, so I had to like try to be smart about this because there were so many stores to like check, and I wanted to get the best deals, of course. But the issue was that like you would finish up in this building, you would leave it, and you would walk to another building. Then if you see like a better deal there, then you're like, okay, maybe I'll buy it here. Then you go to another building, maybe the deal's worse there. And you go through all these buildings, but then you have to try to remember where the best deal was. It's like you're going through so many buildings.
Should have wrote it down.
Yeah, I took photos to like help me remember, and luckily that did help. But there was still so many buildings. I think the cheapest, like the best place to get your stuff was the Ami store in the Radio Kaiken building, which is like the bottom right building there. You can see. There was a BOCCHI floor.
Yo.
Close
The
it was.
BOCCHI floor.
Nice.
But everything was out of stock.
It was all out of stock. I bought whatever I could, and I dumped it on that table over there. But people bought everything. Like, the lady restocking, while she was doing that, I could see like 4 other Japanese men eyeing her, just waiting for her to finish. I made my move. I walked up next to her as she was stocking. I grabbed everything. So she would put it on the shelf, and I would just immediately take it off.
Really, really not helping the image of foreigners that Japanese people have. But you know, you do.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I wanted that BOCCHI merch, all right?
You wanted that Rio pen, really?
Yeah.
bad.
I got
the
that
real pen.
Yeah. You're a happy man with that Rio pen, right?
God.
So I did that. You can see I think that model on the right is, I think I was using the anime.
It literally
yeah.
says, "Do not take a picture,"
Wait a minute.
and you.
Wait a minute.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
What?
Okay, I didn't take that photo. Simon did.
Okay.
Simon's the kind of guy who doesn't care. So he was like pretending to fiddle with his phone or something like that, and like, I think as he was like fiddling, he snapped the photo really quickly.
I really have trouble hanging around. Like, God, if you did that, I would just walk away from you. And
Yeah,
not talk to
I
you.
walked away from him when he did that. I'm glad he took the photo though, because I have the photo there. But you know, I did feel pretty embarrassed. At least the cardboard cutouts were fine. They had the camera okay symbol next to it. You think?
Oh,
Down to that.
man. God, I wish I was there.
Yeah, same.
I'm sure it's not as fun as you actually think, because it's just a lot of walking. There's no seats.
I love shopping. What do you mean?
The shopping bit's fun, because you have money and like, you can look at something and be like, I want this, and just grab it without thinking. Like, I guess that's the thing with like, on gacha games, they force you to convert currency. So like you buy Primo Gems, right? But like 160 Primo Gems, you don't really know how much that's. You don't know the exact amount that's worth, right?
So it's like it's that tourist trap where you don't understand the conversion, so you just think, yep, I'm gonna buy it. Yeah.
It was kind of.
And then your money's all gone, and you're left with like $50 for the rest of the trip.
Yeah, that was basically me. So it was like, 10,000 yen? Oh, give me that. I want that.
That's like $120 or something.
So when I was at the BOCCHI place, I was like, 1,500 for like an acrylic stand? That's fine. I'll grab like all of them. I just dumped them all in like the my basket, and I was like, give me everything. And I walked out of that day like $500 less, and that was like the first AKIHABARA day. So I think the next day I had already planned to spend like all my cash at AKIHABARA anyways.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I wasn't going to spend it anywhere else. Like, what was I going to do? Like, spend a few $100 on food. Like, most of my spending, surprisingly, it wasn't on figures. It was on books. So I bought a lot of art books. And a good chunk of my, the cash I allocated for AKIHABARA was spent on souvenirs. So it's the things I left on the table there. And also, your things cost quite a bit.
Yeah, they did.
It was like a few hundred. It was like 100 and something for the main things we bought for you.
You went to, when you sent me that picture of like the Nintendo merch, was that at Universal?
Yeah, that's Universal.
Okay. Did you go to Pokemon Center Akihabara at all?
Well, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure there's a Pokemon Center in Akihabara.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I probably walked into it, but I didn't know the name of it.
You didn't know what it was. You didn't see a Pokemon.
I saw Pokemon cards everywhere, but I was like, is this...
Did you see plushies and statues around? If not, it was probably just like a card shop.
I thought it was a card shop.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't go to Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
Which was surprising because I thought you'd be like, this is exactly what Bao wants. So I'll send him pictures and maybe ask him if he wants anything from here.
I actually didn't know there was a Pokemon Center at all.
What?
I just went through like Pokemon cards. You only sent me one card you wanted.
I did because I didn't really want cards at that stage.
Yeah, so like I found the card you wanted. It was like $150.
Which I can get for like $23 in Australia. But
yeah. So after sending you that, I was like, I guess there's no other cards to look for.
yeah.
So I just.
I didn't want just like cards. Maybe like get a little Pokemon plush or something as well. But nah. I'll have to go there next time I go. Not next time I go. When I go.
You go.
You had 4 days though. They didn't let you. They didn't. You had 4 days to schedule.
Yeah, I had one Osaka day, and I had 3 Tokyo days. I chose 2 Akihabara, and I chose one. I chose Nakano Broadway, which is like another anime place. So there's like this brand called Mandarake, which sells like mainly books, stuff like that. There's a lot of porn, like, so much porn.
Let's go.
Let's go. Every time I went to like a Mandarake store, I would like go through the normal books. Then I would turn a corner, just like a line of businessmen looking at porn. I swear they're on their break or something, but like they eyed with such intensity in their face. They would like hold it and be like. I look at the cover. It's like a big titty anime girl with like in bondage gear, just like getting gagged or something. I'm like, oh wow, they know what they like at least. That's kind of something. But those stores are so open with their porn. It's just like it's all over the place. I swear it's like half the store or something. I kind of wanted to buy one as a souvenir for someone. I'm not gonna lie, but I think Australia Border Security would probably catch me if they'd search my stuff properly, which they didn't actually. They just X-rayed my stuff, so I could have gone away with it. I didn't. So I purchased a lot of fake Rand Order art books. They were pretty cheap. Some of the books were like $4 for like a big volume. So that was pretty good.
And then you had my art book, which was like $70.
Yeah, your art book was like normal priced. I tried to find another Blue Archive book for myself. I think Simon wanted one as well, because he also plays Blue Archive. But we couldn't find any more. And like the entirety of the place, like the main areas we looked in Akihabara, your one was the only one I found. So they were like mainly sold out.
I mean, it has been like a year since that book came out.
Yeah. So I guess I was really lucky when I found it.
You bought an Azure Lane book, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought like 3 of them.
Which was surprising because you never played Azure Lane.
I don't play Azure Lane, but I like the art.
Look at the characters, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But it was so cheap. Like, volume 1 and 2 was like, each of them were 2,000 yen. Like 20 something bucks. For like this thick ass volume. It's full of like big titty boat girls. So I knew I had to get it.
You didn't find any Arknight stuff?
No, I didn't find any Arknight stuff. I was really sad about that. I think Simon was even sadder because he was really into Arknights and he wanted to like buy as much Arknight stuff as possible. But they only had like some. They had like a big box, and it said like I think first or second anniversary on it. I don't know what was inside.
Wait,
though.
he should have bought it then. Because I have the first anniversary box. It comes with an art book.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It comes with an art book, some coasters, my keychain that I have on my keys. A few items like that, yeah.
oh.
Yeah, don't make his trip worse.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna keep complaining now.
Yeah, if you ever see like a box that's like first anniversary, second anniversary, you buy that.
Yeah, the next time you go, right?
That's like $30.
$30. I paid
What?
like 120 for mine. What? Yeah, I got it when it came out.
Oh my god. Simon said he looked into it. He's like, oh, nothing interesting.
Maybe he's not into art books or stuff like that.
No, he was looking for the art book as well, but he didn't like look hard enough or something. I don't know. I feel like my luggage wouldn't have been able to accommodate it anyways. I was out of space. Okay, well, add that to the list of regrets. Didn't visit a May Cafe. Didn't buy the Arknights.
You're putting Maid Cafe as a regret? I feel
thought
like
you didn't
wouldn't-
wanna go.
I feel like you wouldn't be able to handle the atmosphere.
I wouldn't be able to. That was a joke. Unless you thought I actually wanted to go to a May Cafe. Yep. I did our shopping. So lots of porn. That was cool. And yeah, that was my Akihabara trip. Oh, yeah, they also had like a Steins Gate, like, you know the green banana?
The Joe banana.
Yeah, there was a vending machine that sold like the banana in like a jar.
Should have got that for DJ number.
Yeah, I should have bought it. I was wasn't sure if I could like bring it across the border, but I think I could have. It was like $10 though, but I probably would have paid it. That's another regret. Oh, anyways. There was another place called Nakano Broadway. Have you guys heard this place?
Heard, never seen.
Heard, never seen. I thought it'd be like another Akihabara, but it was like an Akihabara for old things. So there was all like old little knickknacks, stuff like that. Also a lot of books. This place is basically owned by Mandarake. There's like, I think I heard there was like 50 Mandarake stores here.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
you would just go on the floor, go through a bunch of Mandarake stores, and go up, and like go through more Mandarake stores. And at the very top, they had a Mandarake office where the workers were at. So that was a fun trip. I picked up. This is where I got a few of the BOCCHI books I bought from this area. There was like a bookstore that sold them. The Mandarake places also had like they had like tax-free kind of stuff. So if you spent like a certain amount of money, you would get your part of your money back, so you don't have to pay tax or anything. So after purchasing all your things, you would go to like the very top, and they had like a counter, so you can like give your passport and like give your receipt, and they would give you money back and stuff like that. So that was appreciated. Bought some books there. I bought a figure here actually. It was. Wait, did I ever show you?
You only told me you bought one figure. You
Okay,
told me you bought the Klee figure.
figure. I bought a Jibril figure as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure. I don't know which one you got though.
It's the one holding a book, like sitting down. The Jibril figure I bought was like secondhand, so it didn't have a box or anything. So
It survived the trip.
it did survive the trip. Actually, I was surprised. The guy wrapped it up in like a lot of bubble wrap and just put it in like a plastic bag. I swear it also came with like, so when you got the figure, it came with like accessories, like a little book and a small shiro. I think while the guy was talking to me, he forgot to put it in. So I didn't get the books. I don't think the Shiro thing was there. So it was like also missing. So I just came home with like just Jibril on the plate, which is fine, I guess. I probably wouldn't have used. I think I got a pretty good deal for it. I paid like $150 for it, but when I checked the Akihabara, it was like $420 or 400 and something. But that's a brand new one with like all the stuff. So yeah, that's why. Also, the Jibril figure I purchased had like 2 black stains in her ass. I don't know how they got there, but you know, the previous owner was excited about it. I don't know, had the stain. Maybe that's why the price was so low, but I'm happy with it. I think other than like buying books, that one figure, the Nakano Broadway was a pretty chill area. I think I had like So when we got there, the store's actually open like 11 or 12ish. So it was just completely empty when we got there, and it was like 10 at the time. Like it's pretty chill. You're just walking around nowhere. No one around to bother you. The place had a surprising number of like high class watch shops. So you would see like a store that sold porn, and then next door there'd be like fancy watches. So it was really jarring.
Did Himala get that jumper from Japan or?
No, he bought it at the anime festival. Well, one of the jumpers Simon bought, he didn't know what it said, but when we translated it, it said "I love sex." So he didn't wear that in public after he found it. Let's see, it's gonna be interesting. I think he's look yet. Like,
You didn't buy any not safe for work figures?
no, there were a surprising number of them, actually. I feel like I would have. No, I probably could have gotten away with it.
Did you buy a jar?
A jar? No, I didn't buy a jar. You know, when I was like carrying the like stuff back home, I had to like tick a box if I had like spent more than $900 in AUD. And the security guy like asked me, like he looked me dead in the eye. He's like, "So what's this more than $900 you spent?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, just figures." He's like, "Oh, okay, come right through." I said figures. He's like, "Oh, come right through. Who cares?" He's probably used to it at that point.
Figures.
Figures. Oh, this way, sir. Normal bookstore. Oh, I think later in Shinjuku, like there was like that hentai store. I'll show that in a second.
You have video footage of it? Video footage?
Yeah, video footage.
You're not supposed to have cameras in there. But,
You're not supposed to, but like, you know, for the content.
for the gram.
For the gram. NAKANO Broadway. Temples.
We can skip over this if you want.
Because yeah, it's a lot of temple. There's a lot of me just like standing around waiting for them to take photos.
If you're into the like cultural heritage stuff, yeah, go ahead. But honestly, the most I'd get excited for about shrines and temples is being in a high place and being surrounded by snow.
Yeah, I mean we had the snow bit, but not, and the high bit, but like not together. So wasn't all that.
I mean, you gotta go at least once, right?
Hmm?
You gotta go at least once.
Yeah, you gotta go.
But it has to have like either monkeys running around or like deers running around, or else I'm not going.
I mean, there were deers in one place.
Yeah,
There's a
then
temple
I'll
deer.
probably head to that one.
That was pretty cool. I got like, I had like a cracker, and like 7 deers started chasing after me and biting my back. So that was not. It was fun, but it was scary. Oh yeah, I was trying to be traditional there. I gave them like 5 yen.
Weeb.
Shut up. Leave me alone. Oh, here's the porn store.
Wait, so do these stores? Oh, they sell stuff from like Comic Cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to just-
In a.
Yes, in a hentai store. Well, I guess it's not a hentai store. It just sells. It happens to sell hentai as well.
Oh, okay. So it's like a Comic Cat store. Oh, I would have fucking loved this place then.
Yeah.
I really want to go to this place.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this place was a lot of fun. They didn't know English very well, so like I was struggling. Yeah, this is where I got most of my bocce volumes. They're all like there.
Oh god, look, it's this Angel Next Door spoils me rotten.
Oh my god.
Is that the top one?
It's the one above Bocchi.
Yeah, right above.
Oh god, you shouldn't have shown me this place.
This place was paradise to me. I didn't visit the one in Akihabara because I missed it. So I had to go to the one in Shinjuku because we were coming back from Mount Fuji and we had like a bit of time left. Dude, if I wasn't poor at this point, you bet you my wallet would have like emptied out here.
You told me you could have what was it? Exchanged.
I could have exchanged. The rates were so terrible, I was like hesitant.
Right, Simon's really into the Magical Revolution anime, huh?
Yeah, I got everything. I think he even bought some bocce books because like he was buying into my hype.
I'm a bit hesitant on buying manga because I'm not going to be able to read it.
Yeah.
I'd rather just buy art books.
I just want to mention that bocce merch, like in some places, costs like an absurd amount. So I found bocce merch, like, you know that place in Akihabara with like the cardboard cutouts and stuff like that?
Yeah.
With the bocce stuff. A floor below that, they were also selling bocce merch. But, like, do you know what a Nestle berry is? Like a little plushie? It's like one of those, like,
There's like a...
it's like a plushie, like the character lying in the ground.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the head's like that.
Yeah.
The tiny little thing, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 30,000 yen. So I was like, well, not 30,000 yen. I thought it was like 3,000 yen, right? So I was like, oh, it was like 30 something bucks, right?
Yeah.
It was 13,000 yen, which is $150 for this tiny thing. So little me walked up to the bocce corner, was so excited, grabbed like everything. I was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Worker here, I want everything here." I look at the price, and he's like, "Oh, thank you very much, thank you very much." And then he picked up everything, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, how much money does it cost?" And he showed it to me, and then I had to like tell him to put it all back because I was like, "Wait, I don't even have this money." So yeah, that was a funny thing. He laughed at me as well because I was an overly enthusiastic bocce fan.
If we do go here, I feel like I'm gonna need to like stream exactly what I'm seeing, so you'd be able to tell me what you want.
Yeah. Like the staff here look really miserable. Like just look really sad. A surprising number of businessmen went into here, I think. They probably just came in after work or something.
Looking for the hentai.
Yeah. Looking for a good hit. I only visited one Melon Books in like the entirety of my trip in Japan. So
Wait, that is Melon Books.
that's a Melon Books.
Really?
Yes, I bought my stuff. Like they give you a black bag to hide your stuff. That's really nice of them. So if you bought something inappropriate, you could have hid it away. Anyways, that was Melon Books in Shinjuku. There's so many other ones in this area.
Division 4. If we go, then dedicating a week to just shopping. No, dedicate the whole trip to just shopping.
Yeah, that's what you should have done.
This
I mean, I should
depends
have done.
how long we're going.
You don't want to go anywhere, right? You don't.
No, I wanna go to every shrine.
Yeah, I get the shrine
Yeah.
experience.
We're gonna take a lot of pictures. I'm gonna
Alright.
buy a deals.
Never mind. I'm just gonna go on a solo trip. I think.
Public transport was great. Some buses have toilets. That's
Really?
amazing.
But like at the back.
Yeah, the back. There's a toilet. Or no, I don't think the normal ones did, but like the shuttle bus I took back to the airport had a toilet in the back. That blew my mind. The Shinkansens, like when I was moving from Osaka to Tokyo, the Shinkansens were more comfortable than like the airplanes, which is I guess obvious. Should be obvious. There's so much leg room. They gave you like snacks. Like they'd pick a lady with a card. I think you have to pay for it though, but like she would offer you snacks and stuff like that. You can go to the convenience store real quick and just buy like a bunch of food, and you could just eat. A lot of businessmen were just eating the Shinkansens. They'll like bust out the laptop, something, and start working, and start eating and stuff like that. I was playing Fate for most of the time. I hadn't played in so long, so I was munching on my sandwich. That was probably the most relaxed I've ever been during the trip. Is we were always like moving around and stuff like that. Some of the buses were kind of old fashioned. So I think you needed like a special card to like use the buses. So we had to we would just have to get on, grab a ticket, and then just give the ticket to the bus driver when we got off and pay for it like barbarians. But it worked. Toward the end of the trip, I was really miserable. I'd seen like 8 temples at this point. I didn't want to see any more.
Oh no.
I was like, so what's for tomorrow? I was like, oh, another temple. I'm like, oh, that's great. I love temples. Oh, it's fantastic. So I was trying to eat my troubles away. The hotels are really nice. It was a 4-star hotel after all. They give us like free pajamas all the time. Oh, they would clean the pajamas. We wouldn't take them. Free coffee and everything. It was great. I was still miserable though. When we were moving from like Tokyo back to Osaka, we had to to ship our stuff like to the next hotel. We had to go to the convenience store because they were affiliated with this company called Yamato Transport. So this is how you would like transport things back to your country if you wanted to like ship a figure or something.
Yeah.
So you would give the convenience store. They would give you something called like a waybill, like a little slip, and you would just fill that out and stuff like that. I think you have to fill it out in like Japanese format, like the addresses, and it kind of confused me. I think it was like number, prefecture, stuff like that. I didn't really look into it. I didn't bother with that. So that was all confusing.
Was it like a flat rate fee of 20?
Hmm?
Was it a flat rate fee of $20 just to ship everything back?
It wasn't a flat rate. It was like $22 to send like your luggage between hotels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not back home. Back home is like $70 probably, if I could figure back. And yeah, Australia. I'm very happy to be back in Australia. Actually, I'm very happy to be back.
It's like the most happy I've seen you in any of the photos.
This whole time he was miserable.
I think the only time I was actually happy was in Akihabara and Nakano, which just makes me sound like I didn't appreciate Japan at all.
Look, man, you don't have to pretend to like all that other stuff, man. Just like what you want.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but I ain't seen the anime girls.
Where are my anime girls at?
So, you're going back next week, was it?
Huh?
You're going
Next week?
back to Akihabara?
Oh,
back
yeah.
to Nakano
Just
Broadway?
quickly cheeky on a plane ticket.
Yeah.
Go back to Melon Books, Akihabara and stuff like that. Yeah. That again.
How would you rate it overall?
Japan trip. My Akihabara experience was a solid 9 out of 10. My overall experience, because of the temples, it just bumped down to a 7.
7.
7. It wasn't that bad.
And
Kinda
what if you include the plane trip at the start?
6. The plane trip was the worst thing. overall.
Kind of disappointed to hear that you didn't really take in the cuisine at all.
Yeah, I'm not really a food person. That's probably why.
No family mart chicken.
Who the hell's
No.
not a food person?
Well, like I was more interested in moving around. I wasn't interested in like sitting down and eating. Like, well, I guess everyone's mentality probably affected me because they wanted to move around a lot as well. So it was sort of like get food in stomach, keep moving.
All right. Well, for the next trip, obviously you're gonna add in more shopping. You're gonna go to a maid cafe. You're gonna eat more.
Yes.
You're gonna live the life at the nightlife in Shinjuku.
Let's go.
Visit the red light district.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Get scammed. Let's go.
Get scammed. Yeah. of
That's right. I
course.
wanted to ask you, did you get scammed at all? But it didn't sound like you did.
I think the worst thing we got was they charged us a table charge, which is kind of standard.
Table charge.
So you sit down, they'll charge you automatically for like they'll put something on your table and they'll charge automatically for that.
Whoa.
So yeah, I think they put like vegetables or something that they wanted to get rid of on our table. So that was like an extra 200 yen. But
Well, that's your entire trip.
a really brief summary. I skipped over a lot of places, but I don't think you guys will be interested because it's just more picture taking places.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I showed you the BOCCHI locations, Akihabara, Nakano, Broadway, and that was the bulk of my enjoyment, at least.
Well, welcome back to not Japan.
Japan.
Welcome back to Australia.
Yeah,
You're gonna
I
be here
missed
for
it
a
here.
long time. You say you're gonna miss it, but you'll get tired of it eventually.
Hmm?
You'll head to like your closest 7-Eleven and just shed tears.
Yeah, walking back to Australia, like beforehand, I sort of just felt, I felt okay. It was like fine. I didn't really feel inclined to like visit any stores in Australia and stuff like that. But like whenever I see like an angry Aussie look at me, I'm like, it's home. I'm home.
I feel comfortable here.
I'm so I think the other day I was walking in the city and some like Aussie dudes looked at me like, and I was like, it's just like home. Like I genuinely felt relieved. Oh, there's so many businessmen just looking at me funny in Japan. I just stood out. Actually, speaking of which, some businessman walked up to me in like Japan one time, and he was like, "Jikan wa nan desu ka?" And I was like, "I know what this means. My lessons are paying off." I was so excited about that. I visited a lot of tourist locations. It was a lot of just taking photos. It was fine, I guess. Not my kind of trip. I think the next time I go, I want to go with like another group of people.
Sorry, I'm looking through your photos right now. Did you really skip past talking about the aquarium?
Yes, I did actually.
You little bastard.
Okay,
Alright, whatever. I don't care. Digen 4, wrap us up.
Alright, guys. I hope you enjoyed Degen number 2's journey in Japan.
Yeah, I clearly enjoyed it.
I mean, like, I swear, like, almost everything, every section, you're like, I'm miserable. I was miserable.
Anything that wasn't Akihabara, I'm miserable. It's a complaint.
Basically. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm a weeb, right? Look, I'm not gonna pretend like I enjoyed Japan's culture and stuff like that. It was cool, I'm not gonna act like, oh, Japan's culture was so beautiful, so sophisticated. I love the way that the buildings were architecturally built and stuff like that. No, I like pretty anime girl.
So yeah, all right.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
And the next time we'll be in Japan, it'll be the entire Degen diplomacy crew, right, guys?
Yeah,
guys.
I'll give you guys a tour of everything. You want to see like all the temples? I know just the place.
Okay.
All right. See you guys next
All right,
week.
bye-bye.
Laters.